republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat. Got a good crowd here tonight. Welcome, everyone. Roll call.
Mays.
Here.
Nikki.
Here.
Sarah. Wellenberger.
Here.
Bradford.
Here.
Roberson.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Lemmings.
Here.
Bass.
Here.
Okay, on approving the agenda, we have one additional ordinance that's sponsored by Bailey Roberson. Do I hear a motion we submit that this evening?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second to submit the additional ordinance sponsored by Bailey Roberson. Any discussion? Let's just roll call. Since there's only one change for the agenda, let's roll call vote the agenda in its entirety. If you have any, unless you have some discussion. Okay, roll call vote.
Mays.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Wellenberger.
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Roberson.
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve of the minutes and financials.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion in several seconds to approve the minutes and financials. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Takes us up to county judge's comments. Usually this is when I say I really don't have anything. So y'all are going to hope next time I say the same thing. So I've got folders for everyone. Just do like we do at school, take one and pass it down. Tonight we're going to get a brief history lesson on our county taxes. A little bit of history. It's going to be interesting. So back in 1990, the people of Buren County passed a general sales and use tax of 1 penny. That 1 penny is shared with the municipalities within the county. And that share is based on the last census. And that changes every 10 years when we get our new census data. In 1993, the county general portion of that 1 penny was a little under 40%. County roads is under 40%. Looks like they had some capital improvements going on down at the historic courthouse. A little over 12%. Rural fire departments got almost 6.2, and the senior program was 1.8. Advance up to 1999, and there was an ordinance presented that actually passed at the Quorum Court that pushed more of that sales tax money toward county general and less toward roads. County Judge Dale Lynch vetoed that ordinance, and the veto held, and it remained the same until 2006. Now, how many of you people at this table remember what started happening in Van Buren County around 2005, 2006?
Gas and oil.
Gas and oil. That's when it started to hit. In 2006, the Quorum Court reduced the millage from the maximum, the county general millage, maximum of 5 mills, down to 4 mills. To offset that expenditure, the sales tax was looked at again and redesignated. 66% of that tax went to county general, 26% went to county roads. And that capital, if you look on that, that's a misprint. I did a copy paste, so you can mark through courthouse capital improvements under 2006. That was over with. And the rest of those should add up to 100%. Well, in 2007, that worked okay. So the Quorum Court reduced the county general millage from 4 mills to 3 mills. So over the course of a couple of years, with some good gas and oil rolling, we had 2/5 of the property millage reduced, going to county general. County roads held the same. In 2009, there was an issue here. Do any of you remember when there was a lot of mold that had to be taken care of? A lot of the building isn't here, it's parking lot now, because there was a lot of mold getting out of hand. So they ran an ordinance first to temporarily remove the county road portion of the sales tax and push it to general, all that money to general. And then later that year, there was an ordinance passed that made that change permanent. And in your folder, I've included all these ordinances. I've included the veto, I've included everything that I could get my hands on. Also included copies of the ordinances that reduce the millage rates. Because when we hear that we're taxed to death, we are, but it has been worse. And I don't think we've done a really good job of letting the public know that it has been worse and that it could be worse. And compared to other counties our size, we're not doing too bad as far as our tax rates overall. Turn over to the next page. County roads, that fund is facing a lot of challenges right now. Like a lot of challenges. Up until 2021, the money's in, and these have all been adjusted to take away grant funds, because grant funds come and go. They make some years look big, they make some years look little. We had a situation where Southwestern Energy and Van Buren County were in a lawsuit over their property taxes not being paid. Well, then they got paid, so made one year look really low, made another year look really high. You flush all that out, and it held steady at about an inflow of $3.5 million annually, not including what they contributed. But they go out and do a road for us or pave a road. That might not go through the county's budget. They may have just done that on their own, and a lot of that did happen. In 2022, the gas prices and production went up a little bit, and county roads received $3.7 million in funds. 23, it went down to 3.1 million. 24, it went down to 2.8 million. It looks like this year is going to come in about 2.5 million. To put all that into perspective, the last time we were at this rate, we were operating with this amount of money to work with, was approved in 2008 for the working budget of 2009. We have also had last year in January, remember when we had the freeze that set in and it just wouldn't thaw out? Then when it did thaw out, we had flooding rains. So when the roads and the ground started to thaw out and open back up, it just absorbed all that rain and all that water, and we had a lot of roads turn to flat out ice cream. So it cost us well over $500,000 to get through that disaster. We have done every single page of paperwork that was required to file for that disaster. It did not meet federal funding because not enough counties applied for it. And we are still waiting to receive our 35% of that reimbursement from that disaster. It is state money for a state disaster. And in my opinion, there is absolutely no excuse at any level of government to hold expenses for this long. Our OEM submitted paperwork that was about as thick as a Sears catalog, because every road that we touched had to have a workbook completed on it. And every single page has been done, and we're still waiting. Because of this decrease in funding, we have eliminated, or I have eliminated, do what I have to do. We can't write hot checks. 9 full-time positions in the county road department, because we've lost about a third of our funding. So we had to lose about a third of our staff. Now, of those 9, 2 of those were taken down to part-time. So they're still on the payroll. They're just not receiving benefits and working only 20 hours a week. Next page is what is the difference between 2009, the last time we were working with this amount of funding, and now. 2009 minimum wage was 7.25 an hour. Now our minimum, state minimum, is 11, county minimum is 15, and I wanted to add in there a little bit of the fringes, because we do offer a very nice, very rich health care plan that I'm very proud of. But that costs per employee about $5 an hour. APRS, and based on just a $15 an hour, is 15.32%. That's going to come to about $2.30 per hour, which is the county employee's retirement. Other fringes like FICA and workers' comp and all the other expenses that come along with having employees is going to add almost another $3 per hour, which takes our total per hour at $25. So when you do that and you multiply it by a 40-hour work week at a few people, it adds up really, really fast. So well over $1 million of our expenditures are going into payroll. So that's why we had to cut payroll. A John Deere grader in 2009, per Google, the price was about $125,000. Today it's about $500,000. A tractor with a boom mower, per Google, at that time was about $30,000 to $35,000. Today is $175,000.
75, 175.
$175,000. Diesel fuel, back in 2009, $2.29 a gallon. Today's about $1 higher, $3.37 a gallon. So long story short, the squeeze is on, and it's a tight squeeze. And I am getting absolutely slaughtered by some of the public because we don't have the manpower and we don't have the expenses to go out and fix the roads the way they need to be fixed. We always knew this day would come. And I'm really glad Roger's here because he got to experience the good times. But we knew the day would come that these roads that the gas and oil companies built would dilapidate. And what do we do with them? Cold patch alone, we spent $70,000 last year in cold patch just to go out and try to fix the roads to a passable level. And we're going to spend at least that this year. And it's expensive. But we can't afford to do resurface. We can't afford to do non-funded grant work that we once were able to do because the money just doesn't go as far as it used to. All this is strictly for education purposes and for transparency, because if I'm laying off a third of our staff, you guys need to be knowing about it. And the public needs to be knowing about it. I've made a practice when people really start to come into my office and complain. Everyone likes to say, I pay my taxes. Well, I'm glad you do. That makes us good citizens and good stewards, and you don't lose your property when you pay your tax. But I've been bothering Laura's office an awful lot too, because tax payments are public record. So I've been showing people exactly what a return on investment they're receiving. And I included in the back of your packet an example of a true example that I used just last week with someone who was letting me have it because they wanted their road paved. And pretend you don't see one name. I forgot to black out all of that. Of $180 in tax, $4.24 went to roads. Because that's what the 3 mills comes to. A lot of people just look at that total, get angry, write their check, and never look at their receipt again. And I've been told that it is very condescending of me to point out to someone what they pay in road tax. And I try to tell them I don't mean for it to be condescending, but that is my fact. That is what we have to operate with. This is the only local tax that county roads receives. We get some from a motor fuel tax. We get some from the state 1/2 cent sales tax. All of that is collected. We have some turnback funds. It's all collected sent to the Department of Finance and Administration, and that bulk of money is turned around and distributed back to the counties based on their population. So we are very insignificant, and we got even more insignificant per the last census. I don't trust the last census. It was taken during COVID. I don't think we lost that large of a percentage of our population. I think we'd have other markers that would show that, like we'd have more real estate on the market than we do. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what actuality is. That was the census, and that's how the money is distributed. So you've heard me whine for quite some time. I've given you some information on the Fayetteville Shale, when it got started, when it started booming. I've given you copies of all the tax ordinances from 1990 on till today, and the millage decreases when they were put into place. What do I need from you? Well, this is going to impact one other ordinance that's coming up later in the packet, but all I really need from you is a little bit of your backing and support when people start complaining, because they have valid complaints. We're struggling, but we're going to make it. And my goal is to make it through this deficit of funding without many people knowing we have that deficit, except we've just told them. Thank God we are not having to go out and buy open market gravel. Holy moly. I couldn't imagine what that would be like. Our gravel budget would be so minor that we wouldn't be able to do road improvement projects. We couldn't do the matching portion of our grants that we're receiving. Okay, I'll shut up about it unless you guys have some questions.
Are we still buying our equipment?
Yes.
For many, many years we rented it.
Mm-hmm. We are.
We're renting it? Or
No. We're buying.
We're buying.
And we still owe for 5 or 6 graders, 5 I think. We have some trucks that are paying off this month, so that we're finally starting to get beyond that. We still have 4 more years left on the grader balloons. But our payments out, as far as by owning our equipment, we finally have caught up. Now, there's a plus and a minus to owning your equipment too, because even though we own it, we're not having to make those monthly payments. We get the monthly repair bills.
Yes.
Which happens. But we've been doing pretty good with that.
Was there an advantage to renting the heavy equipment?
If there was, I couldn't find it. Now, I'm glad Roger's here tonight. You can ask him what he thought, but we had to spend a fortune on our rental graders, our leased graders, just to get them turned back in. We had to buff out paint. We had to replace windshields if they had a scratch. We had to put new tires on them. We had to pay the property tax on them, just like we owned them, because that's just the way the lease program worked. Very few counties are doing that now. They offered that really great incentive to get counties to do it. Then counties kept doing it, and the market got flooded with used equipment. And that's when we bought it, is when we had that market flood of used equipment. So we got pretty good deals on ours.
So we didn't buy new equipment, right?
No, it was used. Used when we bought it.
How is our equipment now? Getting...
Oh, it could be better, it could be worse. But overall, it's not too bad.
Esther, I talked to a number of county judges at the AAC meeting just asking that same question, and every one of them said they would never, ever rent again, because every time you have a breakdown, you call them out, they'll charge you $3,000, $3,500, $5,000 just to come to repair it. And he said then all the dents and stuff you had to fix on the end, he said it cost them so much more than that. They would, all of them I talked to, so they would never, ever lease again.
Yeah.
Said it was not even beneficial at all.
I agree with Dale. When they first started, it sounded like a win-win situation, but it had a way of turning sour.
Well, it's not sour. I mean, we got to have equipment And if we own it, as long as it's, we'll keep it maintenance on it and run it as long as we can. I mean, we're still gonna come out better than have to turn it back in and then try to have to purchase more and go through the whole process again.
Well, I'm not suggesting that we go to rental. I just had some questions on it.
Right, but when I had the same question when I asked those county judges at another places just to see.
I appreciate you asking the question.
I guess my question is, are we hopelessly in the ditch? Are we gonna be at 2.5 million and that's not enough to take care of our roads, or what's our answer here? Because it's not gonna go up, is it?
I don't. The only thing that would push it back up is if we have another gas revolution. And who knows? I mean, it's open market. Production and price could very well go back up.
I wonder what grant funds not being included. I feel like probably since 2021, those have went proportionally up. Is that true?
Yes.
So in some ways that would could possibly make up some of the difference.
Now, I took the grant funds out of every year too, so.
But do you think we were getting as much opportunity in 2021?
Now, when did we get the Half Moon Road grant? That was a 300,000 grant. I think that was in 21 or 22. I can't remember.
Well, you listed
21.
in the road report some pretty big grants, like Oiler Road and some things like that, but like you say, you can't, I mean, what's the outlook on, that only takes care of one road at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't take care of the roads.
And people want to know why Half Moon, why Oiler?
You got a grant to do it.
It's pretty easy. Those were the most impoverished census blocks in the county.
Do we have too many miles of chip and seal, or, I mean, is there a solution anywhere in sight for this? Because we'll be right here next year with the same problem, right?
Well, that's what I was presenting to you. Supply, well,
I guess when we do the budget, we need to go figure out.
the only option that I have is payroll. I've got to trim payroll.
I was gonna ask, and this may be like in the budget report, like more detailed. So the inventory we have, the maintenancing we have on all of our equipment, is our, like, who handles the company we go through to like purchase filters? Do we do all of our own maintenance on our equipment? Do we have certified people? Do we?
We do our own maintenance, and we do open market.
Okay.
And we buy local when we can. That doesn't mean that we always buy local.
Right.
Sometimes the local option is just too expensive, unfortunately.
What percentage is our county general millage?
It's 3 mills.
3 mills?
Mm-hmm.
We were at 5 at one time, weren't we?
And don't get me wrong, I am not by any means advocating a tax increase.
No, I'm not asking you
Yeah.
to.
So let me ask this question out of ignorance for myself. Sales tax, county sales tax, how much of that comes back to our county budget? Out of my ignorance, I don't know.
Okay, so very good question. The general sales and use tax, and you've got the last ordinance in your folder. So about 90-something% of that, the vast majority of that goes to county general. And had it not, we had some very lean years in county general where we were up here really late at night trying to make ends meet.
That 3 mills is broken out to schools, to cities, to road, and the whole work, isn't it?
Well, no, the school gets its millage. That's why depending on your school district, you're going to get charged that millage. Then you're going to see another portion that is for your city, if you live within the city. Then you're going to see another portion for county general, another one for county roads, and another one for the library.
Yes. What's the library now?
They're 1 mil. And hospital maintenance. Hospital maintenance. It's less than $1 mil. How much is it?
But is our sales tax climbing? I mean, the price of everything that I'm buying has doubled. Food, And we got so many people moving in that and there's so much building going on, especially in my area out there. It's just crazy how many houses are being built. All that should be raising our sales tax, and the cost of everything going up, our sales tax should be double of what it was. That's what my thinking would be, because everything I buy seems like double price.
So our county general has experienced more sales taxes, which has really worked in effect. I wish Emma was here. She had to be somewhere. But it is offsetting the decrease in mineral values.
So the big push for turning this county wet again didn't pan out like they said, right? I mean, they said we were going to have money running out our ears.
So the sales tax on alcohol is no different than the sales tax you pay on a screwdriver at Walmart. It's the same sales tax. So $1 spent, a penny made.
But a portion
Or
does.
70 cents of a penny by the time, and that was, I don't think I answered your question a while ago. County general gets about 70% of that penny. So we've added one more commodity, which is alcohol, and we get the sales tax on that one commodity. So in the whole scheme of the economy and the local economy, it was very insignificant.
Do you have any idea what last year's revenue off of alcohol brought into us?
Very good question, and that will not be made available to us because the Department of Finance Administration considers that as proprietary information.
That's neat.
It's very neat, isn't it?
How long ago did you notice that there was a shortage coming, that you noticed things were changing for you?
21 was a good year, and we went out and we hired Bobby Kennedy Construction. We bid it out, and we did some over the same places that kept having chip and seal fall apart. We had hot mix put down, so all our extra revenues went toward that. Then the next year, I thought, boy, you can tell we're behind that. Then the next year, I thought, whew, it's getting tough. And this year, it got to where we're going to let people go. Doesn't matter what's in the budget if the money's not there to back up the budget.
Right. You started letting people go, but when was the last pay raise you gave somebody?
3 years ago, wasn't
2 years, maybe. It was when we did the county levelization.
That was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, last year.
Good discussion.
So do you feel like we can maintain at this point with what you've got and just do the roads we can? I mean, is that going to, or if we have a disaster like we did last year, I mean, how far behind is that going to put us as the county road center?
If we have a disaster like we did last year, I'll probably have to be coming to you guys asking for a line of credit. And we'll pay that off just like we pay off equipment.
We have one more year on the library, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And
that'd be 360,000. That would.
we subsidize that 180,000.
180.
Yeah, we do. That's what we do. We have one more year, and that pays off. Now, you know, I think that there's an ordinance later on that we'll be getting to that I was going to speak more to that. There's so much wrapped up in this. And the plan of the library paying off and some of the decisions we made, you know, those hard decisions the last 2 years to subsidize, you know, how we're supposed to do. We don't do the road budget. We do county general budget. And there has been a shortfall against what it takes to run the county as is, no changes. The last 2 years, the Quorum Court has decided, you know, how it works. If we just go by the book, it's 90% of the projection, and that's all we can budget. The last 2 years, the Quorum Court has made a very hard decision and taken some blows for it to subsidize with our reserves and based on projecting, and we were going to look at that for 2 years and see where we were. So, believe last year that was $445,000. It has worked out pretty well for us because over 2 years, County General has only went down 80,000. Okay, so let's say it goes down the same amount this year. We're down 120, but the library was going to pay off. We were going to be steady. I think the plan has worked. Now, anything above that for County General, I don't see being able to. I mean, we're already pushing that 500,000 over how we're supposed to budget. Those were calculated risks that I stand behind. I think we did a good job. We're still on track. But to add anything to that is not, I don't think, responsible. So maybe there's other ways of ideas to look at, but as far as more subsidies, I know that the library is paying off, but when we did make this plan, we intended for the library. That was part of taking that chance, retiring that, not committing to something that is endless, to a 500,000 say we added another 180 to it. That's a $600,000 deficit that we would be committing to. I mean, once the library paid off, that would go. But so County General is doing good. A lot of work has went into that, and County General is not up, but it's not down an amount that I'm worried about. And the plan was that the library paid off, and then that evens out, and it looks like that's going to work. And we were even able to give raises. I mean, you remember Virgil it was. I remember you looking at me and like, sometimes you just got to do something and you got to trust it. I mean, it was a hard decision to make, and we did, and we have been successful. I feel like it's been a hard road.
Well, we didn't know price was going to rise on everything like they have. I mean, we look at the increases we've seen this year, and
that's in general too. I mean, generals.
Our insurance, our APRs, all that,
Right,
the increase of all of those things that we could not foresee all of those things, and you make a decision based on what information you have, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So, now on your state money I know that you have state money coming in that we have no say over, as they have increased because of the cost of everything going up and the expenses we're seeing. Has that amount raised for you?
Some has gone up, some's come down, depending on what it is. We have several different little line items that are, in the whole scheme of it, insignificant, like a timber tax, which goes through us, goes to forestry. And then we get some other tax that's supposed to help take care of forestry roads, which is almost a laugh because we get $6,000 or $7,000 a year. But that may go up or down to $10,000 to $2,000 to whatever. But what I gave you is the total, and it's being impacted more than anything by natural gas severance.
Okay, so we made an ordinance to investigate them. Have we any progress on that as far as the oil company making their payments on their equipment and stuff properly? Have we got information on that would help out?
Task got back with Emma, and there was about a $38 million difference. So, just like all the rest of the funds, what does that account for in County General? Because most of that goes to the schools. So, and then you take that $38 million, you got to take 20% of that because that's the assessed value. Then you divide that portion out, and we made enough back to pay for the audit.
That's about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was it was good to do that audit.
Well, to hold them accountable, yes, but I was hoping it would put us in a better position if they were cheating on that, that it would put us in a better position.
Yeah.
Because that was about $42,000 that we paid for that audit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping that we would get something back from that.
Could I
Well,
ask you one more?
with about 90% of that being picked up by the schools, because it was out of the assessor's office, and it shakes in final settlement. Yes, sir.
Could I ask you one more question? when will our equipment be paid off? How many more years do we have?
Oh, well, it's paying off consistently. We had some trucks that paid off this month.
Oh,
We've got some graders that still have about a little over 4 years.
okay.
But we're gonna need some more trucks and stuff too. I've been approached by some of the guys from the county asking, saying, you know, we need more trucks. So there's gonna be equipment needed. You can't run them down these roads like they do all day long and not wear them out. And so, just like your vehicle, my vehicle, they wear out. And so we gotta keep that in mind too when you start talking about, the breach there.
And
With
make
that-
no mistake about it, like Searcy County, I'm sure Tony Horton would love to have my problems right now, because they have a lot less than we do all day, every day to be able to work with. I don't know how he does it. I'm sorry, babe.
Just with those two comments being made, can we get an itemized list? I mean, this may be part of the budget. I wasn't here last time, but that shows like what it is costing us right now to, run this machinery that we still owe on, and like to have the rock crusher and things like that, like what it's costing versus, because I think that would help a lot of people who, I'm hearing some things from, if we had something to show like we're saving this much money by going this route.
Sure, you're going to hear everything.
Yeah.
So all our rock crushing equipment is paid for. We have sunk about $20,000 to get new dies and some new repairs, and it's a dirty environment and it's constantly moving. So yes, it does have its share of issues that we fix as it happens, especially being old. So $20,000. We pay a 75-cent a ton lease, and we pay, I think it's a couple of dollars a ton to blast, and then we have our payroll. That payroll makes that per ton variable, because the more we blast, the less it costs per ton, because you're still spending a static amount of payroll. But it's costing us between $6.50 and $7 a ton to produce. That's with repairs, with fuel, with everything. And to go by is $16 a ton.
And you gotta go to Greenbrier to do that,
Right.
which will be a lot more driving and everything else, because our plant here grows down.
And we get a lot of our base material is just pure shot rock without even processing it. So it brings that cost of that down.
So you said it's running how much per ton? 7?
Between $6.50 and $7 a ton. With labor, equipment, everything. Lease. Land lease.
Do we have a stockpile built back up from the disaster? Like, if we hadn't had a stock, like you told us, if we hadn't had a stockpile, we'd have been hurting.
Exactly.
Do we have it built back up yet, or is it?
We have 20,000 tons on the ground down there from a fresh blast. And if we had the disaster, we could dig into it and get some really good product. As far as finished product, we're delivering it about as fast as we're making it. So we got Oil Row, we got that grant project that has a deadline. We got held up on our Rabbit Ridge project because steel tariffs created more demand on domestic steel, which is one of the best problems for an Arkansas company to have. But they got a little bit behind in production. So it pushed us back a little bit. Okay, y'all about ready to move on? Good deal. So now we've got some more county boards that are going to approach the court. Danny Griffin?
Sir, it's a lot to follow there. But we appreciate y'all coming. We hope to be a bright spot.
Uplifted.
Yeah, that's what we want to be, not a bright spot here. And Janet's going to pass out a letter and a summary sheet of our programs up to this time of the year as we present to the court each year. And this may change. We haven't figured all this out yet. I'll just let you know our program year will
Danny,
be changing.
let me catch you real fast.
Yes.
We've got our cameras pointed over here and our microphone over here,
You want me over here?
where it says "Please stand here."
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
look at there. He's supposed to read the signs, you know. So, the thing we're looking at on this is that our program year actually this year for 1 year will extend through December. and then they're going to change our program year to match a calendar year, which kind of makes logical sense. And so kind of we'll be starting new things there. So what time of year we bring this to you next year could change on that. But we appreciate that we get to come at any time and speak to y'all and tell you kind of what's going on in our office. But, you know, we do like to bring a good report to you each year, and we appreciate what you do for our office and our budgets. And, you know, Janet Perkins, she's there in the office with us, and we have Kim Hunley as our admin. But tonight our real highlight is, and you know, we're pretty proud of our 4-H program, our 4-H kids. And he's about to get to the point, I don't know if I can call him a 4-H kid anymore, but anyway, this young man here to my left is Landon Bates. Landon went through a program this last spring and early summer that was called Ag Tech Career Exploration. He went to, he'll tell you more, but he went to several sessions across the state and even got to do an out-of-the-country trip. So I would like him to come up and explain that program to you and kind of what it's meant to him. So we're just going to turn it over to him, and we'll let him finish up here.
Fun. So, good afternoon. My name's Landon Bates. The Ag Tech and Career Exploration, we actually started off and we had to submit a resume and fill out all this stuff and, you know, have a interview over a Zoom call over like why we were interested in this program, what it meant to us, where it could help us. And I actually submitted a resume, filled everything out to do it, went on the interview, and the big thing that caught my eye was our county doesn't really have a ton of ag tech in it. We have a lot of cattle ranchers and a lot of hay farmers, and there's just not a ton of tech. And we went to Stuttgart and Fayetteville, we went all over the state. And when you go to these places, a lot of these places, bigger farms, are having a lot of tech. And I just thought that was very interesting, that seeing all the tech and stuff that we could work towards here to improve the production and everything that they already have. We saw chicken farms, we saw pig farms, we saw cattle farms, and it was very interesting. It really expanded my view of more than just, you know, when you think of ag jobs, you think, you know, you're going to work on a cattle farm or you're going to harvest corn all day, whatever, but it's really not. There's a lot more in it, and I didn't really realize that. Now they're using drones. A lot of drones. We saw that a lot. They use drones to put out poison and fertilize, and they use drones in the forestry industry as well. They use drones. They get the canopy size from the drones, and they can tell how old a tree is, what the maturity of it is, and what kind of tree it is. I thought that was very interesting. I never knew that job even existed. And then we went to Panama over the summer. We went to Panama for a week. We flew down there on Sunday, I believe. Monday, we got to visit two or three farms, actually. We got to see a flower farm, a pineapple farm, a sugarcane farm. And then throughout the week, we saw multiple other farms. We saw pig farms over there as well. And, you know, a lot of their things aren't as different over there as they are here that you would think. We saw multiple different farms and got to see all the tech over there as well. It was a very cool experience. I'm very thankful for it. I did notice that over there's as many job opportunities into the drones and everything as well as we have here. I'm very thankful for Danny and Janet to help me with everything. Thank you for letting me speak.
Really good job.
Certificate. He has represented Van Buren County, and you know, a large percentage of our kiddos will stay in our county, and anything we do can benefit our county when we plug these kiddos in. All right. Ready to do the 4-H.
Chris and Sarah, you're not a little proud, are you? Not a little bit, yeah. Well, we're very proud of you, Landon. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Up next, I believe we have Election Commission.
Good evening. I felt it important to come before the board again and talk about what's going on in terms of how some of the issues that are coming about in the state could affect us. And so what I'd like to do, I just have a really prepared statement here because I have a tendency to go off topic and rant, and I want to make sure that I keep it clean. But I thought that it's really important that you guys understand, if you don't know, what happened at the recent Searcy County hearing on the Election Commission. All three of the election commissioners had been decertified by the state board over the hand count issue that they had. Searcy County is the only county in our district that actually performed a hand-marked hand count ballot. Independence County passed the ordinance, but they did not implement it. So the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because as a newly elected commissioner, I want to make sure that I do my job right. And I learned some things from sitting in this hearing that I think we need to look at in terms of how we conduct elections to make sure that we're not guilty of the same types of violations. I think the violations that they recited on was more ignorance than anything else. They're all new commissioners, just like we are. And they had the right intent in what they were doing, but they actually overstepped, or they did some things not copacetic. It wasn't the way it should be. I do want to reiterate, because my nickname amongst my peers is they call me the junkyard dog. And that's because they say you're always barking. And so I don't like that title, but it is my nature that when I see things that I look at and go, oh, there's something not right here, that I say something about it. It's just, that's the way I'm wired, that kind of thing. But what I want to do is just I'm just going to real fast here. The 4 charges that were leveled against these commissioners, they were not decertified. They were actually, they ruled just to issue them a reprimand for the violations. The first one was that they had rented cameras so that people could observe the hand counting. And what they did was they rented these cameras. They had been offered to them free, and they said, well, the law says we can't take that. It's a gift, so you need to charge us for it. But they were charged under market value. And so it was interpreted to mean that it was a gift, and so that was in violation of election code. And so that was the major thing. And the reason it was a major thing, because the cameras came from the Arkansas Voter Integrity Initiative run by Conrad Reynolds, who is not a friend of the state legislature. So that kind of triggered the whole thing. The other thing was they had, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, this is when it really kind of grabbed me. They failed to list the poll workers 8 days before the election, as required by law. What they did was they listed the workers that they had at that time of the deadline, but then they added 3 additional workers. And those 3 additional workers were determined to be out of that ruling. The reason it's important is because there's no law that talks about how to add workers after the deadline. That was the issue. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I want to be talking with Pam about, how we handle that in the future. If we have poll workers come on board after the deadline, what do we do? How do we do that? How do we handle that? There doesn't seem to be anything that tells us how to do it. So that was a big concern for me. The other thing was they had an issue with paying the poll workers. The ones that did the hand counting did not want to be paid. It was a volunteer thing because they were trying to keep the costs down. And there was an issue involving that, I guess in the way it was reported. And so that they determined that was a violation. That was dropped. They dropped that completely. They were reprimanded over the camera and the posting of the election workers. The last one was They were short a poll worker at one of their polling stations. They were supposed to have 4 and they only had 3. Apparently one of the workers had an emergency and had to leave. And what happened was they contacted the election commission, and the commission gave them permission to run the poll with only 3 workers. But it was a violation of the code, and so that was brought up. That charge was also dropped. My point for bringing all this up is because I want to make sure that we don't fall into that kind of stuff. I want to keep our elections as clean and transparent as we can. I can tell you the tension in the room was immense. The room was standing room only. They had to have close to 200 people in that hearing, and it was standing room. And it was like, what I could see, what I could sense is that there was a dysfunction between the election commission and the county clerk. They've had 3 county clerks in less than a year. And apparently what's happening is they're just appointing clerks because they can't get somebody to run for the office. That's what I'm gathering from what they're saying. And those clerks, when they testified, were extremely ignorant of what the job entailed and what was supposed to be done. So we don't have that problem. I have so much admiration for Pam. The work I've done with her so far and being around her, she's got her act together. I just want to avoid us falling into any pitfalls like this in the future where something like this comes up and begins to make us look like we don't know what we're doing. So I want to keep everything transparent with you guys and above board. I'm not a political junkie. I don't like politics. I don't like surprises. I just want to get the job done within, the jurisdiction we have. So thank you for the time, and let's go and move on.
Thank you. Any other elected officials or department heads that would like to approach the court? Chad Brown. It's nice to see you without a leash.
Happy to be upright and not with no pick lines. Yeah, I didn't know what a pick line was a week ago. So just want to talk to you about something going on at the prosecutor's office. It's a little bit hot off the presses. It's good news, bad news. The bad news is it's not anything nearly as good as what they presented, but the good news is it's nothing nearly as bad as what Dale presented. So very happy to be in the middle. But it actually is a kind of a serious issue. Yes, so you have 2 full-time employees at the prosecutor's office, okay? Those are your Van Buren County paid employees at the prosecutor's office, the county general funds. And they're responsible for, those 2 employees are responsible for all of the felony files, all of the district court files, our hot check accounts, all of the operational things that go on at the prosecutor's office. They go to court, sit in jury trials, all those things, okay? You also have received the services of a victim witness coordinator that has been paid for historically with some grant funds. It was paid something called VOCA, Victims of Crime, and Carol might jump in on some of the details of this, but it's been paid for historically with some grant funds from the federal government, and then the state has jumped in for a period of time. She's a local person, Penny Stringer. You probably know her. She's been working in that position for several years, and going back with the county, she's been with the county for almost 12 years. She serves Van Buren and Searcy County only. She's specifically with the northern counties. So we got some bad news yesterday on her position, and the grant that funds her position has been reduced down to $0. And that's effective September 30th. And when we start pulling back and looking at the vacation time and everything that we would have to pull back, it means that yesterday we learned that we were imminently about to lose the services of Penny, and she's just not going to be able to be with us. So Carol and I kind of talked about it. There's nothing that I have to tell you right now except that it's just kind of a crummy situation. We're going to kind of put our heads together and try to figure something out to try to continue to serve victims and witnesses. So just to kind of, I don't want to go on too long, but just to sort of tee up what she does. If you are a victim of a crime, specifically felonies, but really we extend those services out to a lot of people. But if you are a victim of a crime, you have certain statutory rights that we have to let you know what's going on. We have to let you know about the case. We have to let you know about court. We have to let you know about offers that we're making. We have to communicate with you. she fulfills those responsibilities, but she's so much more because she's a phone number that someone can call. And if any of you have ever known anybody or been a victim of a crime, you feel like you've just been ripped down to your shreds, and you need a person to talk to, and that's what she does. That's really what she does. Okay, because we can't always do that because we're running around in different courts all the time. It's just kind of a disappointing result that we're kind of grappling with, and I just want to let you know, because the reality is we're going to try to figure out some things, but we might have to come to you to talk to you about what we're going to do to try to preserve that position the best we can. There are certain things I don't think we can do anything about. Like, I don't know, it's actually her status is actually a Faulkner County employee, just kind of the way the grant was written. So there are some things I don't think we can do anything about, like benefits packages and stuff like that. But we want to try to figure out a way to continue to serve victims. That's the challenge we're looking at. So maybe next month we might come up with some ideas. But I just want to kind of tee you up, because I hate to just show up with an ordinance or something for you to look at.
So did they give you reasons why they had dismissed cut off the program, wanted to shut it off?
Yeah.
It's a federal grant, and it's gone down. This is my 5th cut in that grant. I just, Van Buren and Searcy County don't have a lot of ways to supplement that, and so I had held out this position as one of the last ones to cut, because there's not much, so there's not as much to do. So they have cut, so the request was $21 million for the state, and $6 million was awarded of the $21 million. So our grant, so we're told we're getting nothing. And it's not just Penny, there's actually 2 positions in Faulkner County as well that this affects, and so it's pretty devastating for our program.
So what is her salary, if I don't mind asking? How much are we talking?
That's a good question, and I don't have that number. Do you? I will tell you that she is paid. Her salary is more than what is slotted for the county, the administrative positions that we've got.
So it's divided between the 2 counties? Is that?
Yes. She divides her time between the 2 counties. She spends roughly 2 days a week in Searcy County, and then 3 days a week here.
It's around 42, 43. I don't have the exact figure in front of me, but
Well, I'm just curious.
Salary.
We're talking about how much deficit we got here today, and the number, just kind of thinking here.
yeah, it's about 42 or 43 is her salary.
So,
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and again, I mean, we're talking about someone who's, I mean, you're talking to victims of capital murder, rape cases. I mean, I don't want to wave the bloody shirt too much, but I mean, like, we're talking about someone who's dealing with trauma daily. That's just what she does. So anyways, again, we just learned yesterday, we have no ideas right now. Really, it's just kind of, we think you need to know, because at the end of the day, the question is really if we're gonna be able to provide extra service, provide any of these services. We might be back next month with some ideas that maybe we've put together, and so we just kind of wanted to let you know.
And Judge, I know this is a cause that's near and dear to your heart in a lot of ways, because some of the most horrific cases that we have to deal with involve children, and I know a lot of people in this room, everybody in this room cares about that. And so this is a person who, the victims come into court and look for this person and sit with her in court, and some of them call her on the weekends or call her at night. This is one of the more emotional parts of our job. This is that contact person, right? This is that that really builds a rapport with these people, that, because it's a lot of times nobody wants to go to court and talk about being raped, right? Especially if you're a kid. And so this is a devastating cut for our program, and we're still kind of reeling from it and figuring out what to do. But it's going to have a negative impact on victims in this county and Searcy County and Faulkner County, and which is upsetting, because that's, the victims are the people who kind of get lost in the system and don't really have a seat at the table. So we're pretty upset about it. So we want to let y'all know, basically. And
perspective. So we have jury trials set every month. Not always Van Buren County. It's either Van Buren County or Searcy County. Every month we have jury trials set. We just made it through our August settings, so we're looking at September now. And I have serious violent crimes that Penny has spent 2 years working with these people, and they're about a month out, and I don't know who I'm going to tell is going to be their coordinator. Does that make sense to you what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at, is just kind of like exactly right now. And I don't even know if there's anything we can do to fix that problem, but if you have someone who has had you've had this person say, hey, this is your lifeline for 2 years, and we're coming up on this trial, I hope you're ready for it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, she's just not with us anymore. That's kind of what we're dealing with. And so, again, we're going to put our heads together and try to come up with something to bring to you. I don't know what it'll be. We've had some ideas, but I don't know what it's going to look like next month. But just want to kind of give you a heads up. So,
Is there any grants or something that you can write for something like that? To get money to help on a situation like that?
Well, I mean, that's what we've been on, right?
Mhm.
So
I know,
this
but
has
that's
been-
from the government, you've been right. But I'm talking about, is there any other agencies out there? White River, does a lot of program. I'm just wondering for something else available that you could get a grant from to help share that cost.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're
maybe.
thinking of all areas. I'm not trying to.
I'm weary of grants now, right? But
So other counties, obviously, in the state are going to be affected as well.
correct, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you go
And
6
this
to
is
20.
the person who, aside from taking the phone calls and walking, alongside that person through their trauma, she's providing the statute, the law to them, so they know what's available.
Yeah, she's coordinating all the meetings between the whichever prosecutor's handling the case, and then right. And so this was an issue, and so the Prosecutors Association knew this was a problem. Like I said, we've been cut time and time again. Just hadn't affected this county yet. It's affected Faulkner County several times. So we approached the legislature to try to make the victim witness coordinators state employees, because it's a state mandate, right? And we just got, just no traction in the legislature. We had some people that were very supportive, but it did not pass. It wasn't run. It was filed and not run. So, so it's back and forth between the state thinks the county should pick it up and the counties think the state should. So we're stuck and some counties have the money to do it and some don't.
And it's governed by state statute, so.
It's governed by state. But they're local cases, is what the legislators would tell you, right? So, just like the prosecutors are state employees, so we're state employees, we get paid by the state, but the support staff are paid by the individual counties. So a lot of victim witness coordinators in the state are county employees of that specific county, and then a lot are on grants. And so, yeah, there's, I think, probably 12 other offices are being affected by this specific cut, but then more have been in the past. So yeah, we're going to look into, absolutely, to answer your question, yes. Now, we're not going to be able to get done by September 30th,
Yeah,
right? I mean, so, yeah.
We waited for how long for these grants to go through, Dale?
Yeah.
Years.
Well, and we, in full disclosure, a lot of these grants have been dried out, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know, a lot of our pending grants, we don't know if they're actually going to get funded.
Yeah.
And again, because I always hate when I do these things and then think that maybe people leave scared that suddenly now, there's going to be a problem with crime or victims not being served. We're going to serve the community and whatever resources and funds you guys are able to give us. And I want to make sure that message is out there. Like we're not going to suddenly just say we're not going to follow our statutory responsibilities and we're not going to take care of victims, because that's actually is the sole focus of what we do. But this is a challenge, and we're just going to have to work through it. And like I said, hopefully we can come up with something for you next month. So, yeah. So that's all I got for today. So, yeah. It's the change. Like we've had different staff. Like someone retires and someone new comes in, and so we've done that before. But it's like when you tell them you don't really know who, you just don't really have anybody then. So that's what's kind of challenging.
The victim witness fund, is it able to be able to pay someone?
That's an idea that we're bouncing around. The problem is what do we do with stat? Like, number one is it sufficient really to do that? I can tell you that the money it brings in every year is not, but. Really, I think right now is like stopgap. What do we do about this? What do we do about trying to get through this year? And then I don't know we're not even talking about 2026 yet, because it's just like, how do we get through this year? But yeah, no, like that's that's one of the first things we started thinking about is what can we do with that.
Chad, don't run off until I talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, anyways, that's what I've got. Any other questions or anything, and I'll be around if y'all have any other questions about it. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Are there any other officials or any boards, county boards to address the court? Now, are you going to be a public comment or are you going to be a?
It can just be a public comment, I guess.
Okay.
There's nothing serious. I just want to make people aware.
Okay. We can go ahead and get that out of the way. We're running long tonight anyhow.
I'm Kevin Johnson. I'm the Van Buren County Republican Committee Chairman. And I just want everybody to know that the filing fees this year has been moved up to November. Our primaries got moved up to March. I just want everybody to be aware that filing fees will be November 3rd through November 11th. And that's all I want to say, so everybody won't be caught by surprise when it does happen. Thank you.
And there's no increase?
That gets voted on at our next meeting, which is this coming Tuesday. So I can't say anything about that till we have our meeting.
That doesn't even need to be discussed at this table.
Thank you.
And you said, what was the date one more time?
November 3rd through November 11th.
Okay.
Thank you. Court, do you have any questions or comments for any of the elected officials or department heads here? It's been so long since we have gone this long. Do y'all want to take a break before we run into new business? Okay, let's take a 10-minute break. All righty. Quorum Court will come back to order. Hope everyone enjoyed your break. It's been a while since we've lasted long enough to have to take a break. So, good times. We get to enjoy some time with each other tonight. See how positive we made that sound? Our first ordinance tonight is sponsored by Justice Nikki Brown.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 2024-54, the annual operating budget for 2025, to increase revenues and appropriate $576.28 into the Van Buren County Circuit Court Division 1 budget number 1000-402. Whereas the Van Buren County Circuit Court Division 1 judge has received a grant through the Arkansas Administrative Office of the Court's Security and Emergency Preparedness Program in the amount of $576.28 to purchase a portable breathalyzer and a handheld metal detector. And whereas these grant funds will need to be appropriated into the Circuit Court Division 1 budget to purchase these items before December 31st, 2025. Now therefore it be ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that $576.28 be appropriated into line item number 1000-402-3103 grants in. I move we approve as written.
Second. We have a motion and a couple of seconds to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mays?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Wellenberger?
Yes.
Bradford?
Yes.
Roberson?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2025-27.
Thank you. Our next ordinance is sponsored by Becky Page.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 2024-54, the annual operating budget for 2025, to increase the projected revenue and appropriate $9,423.82 into the SRO budget number 1000-411 and for other business. Whereas the SRO budget is funded by Van Buren County Schools, Southside B Branch, and Shirley by a contract between the schools and the Van Buren County Sheriff's Office. And whereas the schools board has voted to give raises to the resource officers of each school, and whereas these monies will need to be appropriated into the SRO budget to pay the resource officers correct salary amounts for the remainder of 2025. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, Shirley School SRO position has been raised from $17.69 to $20 per hour. Section 2, Southside B Branch School SRO position has been raised from $17.69 to $19 per hour. Section 3, the monies will need to be appropriated into the SRO budget as stated below. 1000-411-1001, salary full-time, $7,529.60. Number 1000-411-1006, Social Security, $576.02. 1000-411-1008, retirement, $1,153.54. 1000-411-1009, health insurance, $43.92. 1000-411-1010, workman's comp, $110.74. 1000-411-1011, unemployment, $10, totaling $9,423.82. Make a motion, we approve this.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
Is this coming out of their millage?
This is by contract. The schools pay for this.
Okay, out of their millage.
I'm sure out of their.
The schools,
They
then
get their
they
millage.
reimburse us for it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I wondered how it said they voted to give raises and they want us to pay for it. I thought I was back having children again in school and
Since it comes through the county, you have to appropriate it because we can't spend anything that's not appropriated.
right. But I thought they could vote raises, so every county office could vote for raises to their people and we'd have to pay for it. Now, that ain't gonna work very well, so. Okay.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Mays.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Wellenberger.
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Roberson.
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2025-28.
Thank you. Paul, you're up next.
All right, Van Buren County Quorum Court, ordinance number 2025-B, enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to increase revenues and appropriate $180,000 into the Van Buren County 911 System Fund number 3020. Whereas Van Buren County Road Fund number 2000 has paid Van Buren County 911 up to $180,000 per year for dispatch services, and whereas due to funding decreases, the money is not available for the road department to pay for dispatch services in 2025, and whereas there is a need to appropriate the funds to keep Van Buren County 911 operational for the remainder of 2025, now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that 1, the sum of $180,000 shall be appropriated into County General Fund number 1000-100-9999, transfer out. 2, the appropriated funds should be transferred by court order in increments as needed into Fund number 3020-501, the 911 systems. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt this ordinance, and I know there's going to be a lot of discussion. So, who wants to start?
I would like to start. First of all, I want to make sure that I understand it correctly. Would this 180 be in addition to the 225,000 that we've already subsidized this year?
Yes.
Okay. So that would bring the total subsidy for 911 for 2025 out of general to $405,000.
Correct.
Okay. My next question would be why this wouldn't be something that would go through the budget committee first. This is a huge deal with a large implications. It takes my breath away, to be honest with you. So I'm wondering. I mean, my gut would just be to table it to the budget committee. And I'm wondering if there's a reason that I don't understand why it needs to be handled tonight instead of waiting for it. I've checked the fund balance. Well, I checked it before I came. I haven't checked the one as of exactly today. If that fund has went down. When I checked it from my report I got at the first of the month, I believe there was $60-something thousand. That looks like that would fund a month.
That is $31,935.
So $31,000 now. Okay, so it's 1.5. Okay, so that is not enough to fund a month.
Correct.
So to go back to when we talked before, okay? So, what the Quorum Court is responsible for is the budget for the general fund. And the past 2 years, we have decided, I think for good reason and for the better of the county, to do the 90% that we can budget from, and because of our excess reserves, to project off that. Knowing that the library is paying it off after one more payment, and we were going to reassess after 2 years. We did give raises last year. That was the first time that I can remember that the employees have had raises, and we did some levelizations that we were proud of. And so we subsidized, depending on how you look at it, because these are very complicated scenarios that come through the budget committee. Anywhere from $447,500 to $487,000. Something that if we wanted to make this an easy job, you know what we would say? 90%. That's it. And we'd cut $500,000. But I think that we've been totally justified in doing that. That's panned out. And also the library is going to pay off next year. That was an obligation that if we didn't pay off, our bond rating was going to be ruined. And that $180,000 was going to, we hear the problems coming up. We know that we have issues with roofs, jails, all these things. So to commit to a $405,000 never-ending subsidy is, I'm not saying, but it's such a big deal. I feel like this needs to go through the budget committee first.
I'd just say if you look at the analysis that they'll showed us, the budget for the road department assumed that severance would be $2.7 million as it was in 2024, and it looks like it's going to be $2.5 million in 20. So it's almost exactly the $180,000. And so we've laid off as many people as we can lay off. So I don't know how you cover it any other way other than out of the general fund.
But I feel to not have a budget meeting where we make sure that everything has been cut as much as it can be, or to discuss all those things,
That's great as long as 911 can wait for that process.
Well, at a bare minimum, if going back to how much is actually in the fund now, if there's only $30,000 we can't get through a month, then I would at least recommend, I hate it that Sarah's not here. I was almost not here. She's a senior member of the budget committee, as am I. This is such a big decision. At the very least, I would say that we fund a month. I wouldn't fund 4 months.
What does it cost to 1 month?
56, about 1,000.
Slightly under 60.
And that's another thing. Can we see a breakdown of what all it costs to run 911?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything y'all want. Most of it is payroll. The move, all that was paid for by ARP funds.
And have they done like you have? Have they tried to cut back on the payroll?
Yes. We have to cover the shifts.
Well,
now and also part of that used to be in the sheriff's office budget. He lost some positions when this consolidation occurred. So it's moving from one line item in county general to another line item. It's almost invisible because raises were given in the meantime, which inflated both numbers. But
and I know I've asked this before, but does like City of Clinton, anybody that we dispatch for, do they contribute to the? Is there any way we can?
They do a little. Now, what happened back when Paul Wellenberger was a mayor is we learned that you can't make them. And if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it because the true burden of 911 falls on the county.
Now that we've made them county employees, it does. But before, did it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and I think that we did give raises, but for instance, in 2021, the subsidy was $75,000. We give countywide raises of 50 cents. That's about $100,000. That going from 75 to 405 is not about the raises exactly. It is about, and so the point is not saying we don't fund one, but like we have to really think about it and problem solve and sit down and say, whether this ends up being the answer or not, and it's like we just have to do it. Ideas like, are there any other funding options? All those things are so important. Especially, I mean, I can say that if this passes tonight, there's really no reason to have 2026 budget meetings other than to decide what we're going to cut.
Right.
Because our hands are tied for a reason, and our responsibility as county general. When the millage went down, county general revenue went down too. County general's,
that got taken out of roads.
and we don't get a millage in general.
Yes, but I mean, you said when that millage was cut, it came out of general. That's true, but the sales tax portion went from roads back
Right,
to
yeah, I
county
mean, I
general.
think that evens out to a certain extent, but, the wages were minimum wage there too. I'm not saying that we don't help I just feel like it needs to be explored more, because the ramifications are a lot. I mean, it's a big decision it's a lot of money.
So when the decision was made to pay the $180,000 out of the road fund, do y'all know when that was? Like, has it all?
When we do the budget, it was presented to us that $225,000 was the subsidy needed to do 911, and County Road subsidizes that, and their funding is and I understand that track, but the problem is in thinking about what County General can give. We have done what we can give, and we have maxed out doing subsidies. I mean, unless we, as a group, decide, okay, we're going to up the subsidies, it would be, if County General was going up, and I don't say this to sound an alert because I'm not worried, but it's not. It's going down about $40,000 a year, and that's okay because the library is going to pay off. But it's just such a big decision because it takes off the table any kind of raises, or not that was going to happen, but it takes off the table anything other than we get the projection, we decide if we're still willing to plug what the $500,000 that we've been kind of sticking our necks out, on, and then it's just a big number that where 180 was going to pay off, it would be taking on 180 as a permanent. And if that is the answer, then that's the answer. But I feel like that is just a lot to unpack. That is this. I don't understand why it wouldn't go through budget, other than I realize that we need to get a month. So I would recommend that we fund a month until we can dig into it more.
Why is there such a shortfall on 31,000 and then wanting to put 180 in there?
That's to last the rest of the year. And last year, in
For
full
the what?
disclosure, to last the rest of the year. They'll get another deposit. They'll be at the very end of the year, like it'll be within the last couple of days of the year from the state funding portion, but that'll go into the projections for next year to help fund it next year.
So,
And
I understand the importance of 911, but this thing has bled us and continues to bleed us. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the 180,000 that come out of your budget was to help sell us to get us to vote towards this, correct?
No.
Didn't you say you'd bring the 180,000 out of your budget because you would have that when we started doing all this?
At that point, we did. But to make them county employees, there were 9 employees. The APRs, the medical insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between what we're paying now and what we paid then, and I have this printed out, is just personnel costs. And just like Carol was talking about with unfunded mandates. 911 is one of those. We have to provide it, but the state doesn't provide enough funding.
Right. But we also thought we was going to get other counties to help come in and help pay for this, as we were told, and they backed it up. They moved the date on us.
Move the day, and other counties are in the hole a lot more than we thought. Their dispatchers are their jailers, which is a very dangerous situation to be in. But that's their reality, so they can't afford to consolidate right now.
But with all these, I mean, we're hearing both in roads, we're hearing with the prosecutor's office, these grants going away. Those opportunities will be limited for general too. And so I feel that it's our job to protect general. I'm not saying that we're protecting it against, obviously we need 911, but we've got to strategically think about this because to commit long-term to...
It's too much.
400,000 when we thought 225 up from 75 was high. That was pushing it as much as we could push it. I can't imagine just doing 180. I can't get my head around it. And I understand that we need to provide it. So it does make sense for it to come across as, to be taken care of. But I would think that the longest that we should fund is by month so that we have some time to dig in and really,
Well, Nikki, the same trouble that Dale's having is the sheriff's department's going to have. They're going to need new vehicles. The vehicles cost have risen, and we're going to have the same situation. So you're talking about all across the board, money's needed just to cover expenses. And so I don't know what the answer is, but you're telling me that the 180 was never a part of the. I thought that was coming out of your budget because that was provided. You were to help them get it here.
They're going to still continue dispatch for your road department, right?
Right.
So
it was. His funding has went down, and I think what he's saying now is he doesn't have it.
Right.
But we thought that it was that's what it was.
But that was some of the sale that we got to buy in on this whole thing, and now I'm trying to process all that's what I'm trying to do.
So it was budgeted for out of the road department fund
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's why there's a deficit now.
So it was kind of two separate subsidies. 911 is not a county general fund. So there are county general funds, and then there are separate other funds outside of county general. And so it gets confusing. But sometimes when there are things that need a subsidy, then we subsidize, give that, and we've done that several years.
Within reason.
Yeah, and we've done the library. The library issue came up. We subsidized it and decided to pay basically half the payment until it was paid off every year. That will pay off in a year that 180 is over. We had hoped it would come back to us, and we would recoup some of that, and we could use it for, like Virgil said, we're about to be in budget. Everybody's got things that have come up, and expenses, sheriff's office, and so to just give this away before we even get there, it's just.
So you understand, the library spent a lot more money than they were, and so we own it, we own the building, so we had to take it over. When the funds dropped from the gas and oil, they didn't have the money coming in. So the only responsible thing to do is take that and then pay it out monthly or yearly. And so that's what we're doing. So one more payment.
And so a lot of the same thing has happened. We have invested in something, and now we don't have as much revenue as we did before. And so we have to come up with a plan to, the reality was we did think that we would consolidate, and they kept moving that date. So that's something we couldn't change. Counties were in worse than we thought they were, so they don't want to pay.
It was 2032. Have they pushed it back even further?
Honestly, I think the board has the teeth that they could that they could do it now. I don't think the appetite's there for them to want to. So I almost look for that date to extend out now. So yeah, but another point, and I'm really glad Paul's here. the same auditors audited the city of Fairfield Bay that audited Van Buren County. And they were questioning us pretty heavy about 911. We were going to have to move them to county employees, whether we liked it or not. We just got ahead of it and we didn't get an audit finding. But they saw the money trail and they knew what should be happening. And is that correct, Paul?
I wasn't the mayor when that happened, so I was fighting it.
But we were reimbursing their salaries even when they were employees of Fairfield Bay.
They weren't getting APRs. There were a lot of benefits that have been added that they were not getting, which is, I'm glad they're getting them. It was a good move for them. And
Let me ask this question, Nikki. So you're saying a month, if we budgeted just for 1 month to get through a month, what do you think can happen in the next month to change? Do you have some idea? Let us know what you're thinking.
No, I have no. I was surprised by this ordinance. So I mean, you know, overall, like that it was. No, I didn't. No, I have no. I didn't know we were going to need $180,000. So I guess what I'm saying is I want to keep it running. I don't want people not to be able to call 911.
Right.
We just got to sit down and hash it out and look at. So the reality is we don't have a meeting for a month. We do it. We get a budget committee meeting. You know how I feel about that. Anybody can be here because at the end of the day we're all going to vote. I mean, it doesn't have to just be, but we gotta, and I don't know the answer. I mean, like.
Well, Sarah's probably not going to be here for a while, so.
I know it's horrible timing.
So, I'm trying to get. I can't talk outside this meeting, so it's what we're talking in the meeting here, that you understand that I need to know what would change in a month's time.
She can look at the numbers better. She can dig in and see what exactly.
You know, I
can be
got
done.
this on. To be honest with you, I didn't think I would be here because I thought Chad was going to have surgery. I didn't think I'd be here tonight.
Right.
So I had
I'm
no.
glad you're here. Glad he's
Yeah, I am too. So at the end of the day, like we talked, like we're over county general, so I don't, you know, I haven't dug into road department, and I don't really intend to be honest with you.
There's two pieces. The
Yeah.
road, it's the road and.
Yeah, so I
And
think that
911,
Dale has
yeah.
to come with his information on the road because I'm not going to understand that. I mean, I feel like I understand county general, but Dale runs county road. So Dale comes and says, here's what we've cut, here's what we can and can't do. Then we look at it from our perspective. We do have reserves.
We need to look at 911 too.
Yeah.
If you're going to scrub it, you got to scrub both of them. 911 and
I
road.
just think that we've got to, this was not something we saw coming. I mean, the $225,000 subsidy was pushing it. I mean, like we thought we were really doing something, and that was as far as we could push it. So I never anticipated another $180,000. And I'm not saying that that's, I see where it's coming from, that the road funding has been cut. Like, it's just where we are, you know.
It's just almost equal to what they're short. Yeah.
Do you want to amend the ordinance?
Before I officially amend it, I feel like we keep talking. I mean, don't we agree that 911 needs to function another month? I mean.
Oh, absolutely, got to function.
Yeah. And I don't think we have the choice.
There's not an option
Yeah.
for that.
So I would move to amend it from 180,000 to 60,000. That would get us a month. It is a big loss that Sarah will not, and that's not her fault. I mean, it is a big loss that we may not be able to have a budget meeting with Sarah there. So I think that needs to be handled in a budget meeting. So I would make a motion that we amend the $180,000 to $60,000 to fund it.
And we're sure 60,000 is not too much. It's enough.
Well,
Do we know that?
I mean, I pulled their budget, and it looks like it's taking about $56,000 a month. Dale, does that sound about right?
But 180,000 is not going to finish up. We still got 5 months left. Okay, it's.
Right, I didn't make.
56,000 a month times 5 is not 180,000. I'm not.
Yeah, and I didn't write that, I mean, I didn't propose 180.
That came from projections. Not this year, but the last year, actually, because we reused the same budget this last year.
So we're probably going to need more to finish out the year then. If you're saying 56,000 a month for 5 months, you're talking 250.
But there's some in there.
Yeah, there's 30.
And they will get some funding, a little bit. Not a huge deposit like the one at the end of the year, but there is some monthly funding that comes in.
And this part down here where it says in increments as needed, that's every, 2-week payroll?
Yeah.
Is that what we're?
Is there a second on your motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the ordinance down to $60,000 instead of $180,000. Any discussion on the amendment? Let's roll call vote that amendment. We don't have to, I don't think. I think we can voice it, but let's roll call it.
Mays?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Wellenberger?
Yes.
Bradford?
Yes.
Roberson?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
Okay.
60,000.
Okay. So any more discussion on the ordinance the ordinance itself as amended? There a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt the ordinance as amended. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Mays? Nikki?
Yes.
Wellenberger?
Yes.
I might have to change that to Paul. That's a big name. Bradford?
Yes.
Roberson?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
2025-29.
Thank you. Bailey, you're up next.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 0-2024-54, the annual operating budget for 2025, to increase the projected revenue and appropriate $4,464.11 into the appropriate line items in County General to pay for additional costs to AAC, Association of Arkansas Counties, for auto equipment insurance. Whereas vehicles have been added to the auto insurance coverage for the Sheriff's Office, and whereas insurance has been added for the Van Buren County Fairgrounds. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $2,079.45 be appropriated into number 1000-400-3053 fleet liability for the Sheriff's Office. Section 2, $2,384.66 be appropriated into number 1804-3107 for the Van Buren County Fair Association insurance. I move we approve as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. As far as discussion, the fairgrounds portion, just like with the SROs, has to be appropriated to pay, but the fairgrounds will pay that. So.
Okay. That's my next question. Do we own the fairgrounds? Why are we putting insurance on it? I'm like,
We do own the fairgrounds.
we do own the
We
fairgrounds.
do. We do.
Is it getting mowed?
Yeah, that looks really good. Eric went out there and took care of it. Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
Never mind. That's good. Got it.
Roll call vote.
Mays?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Bradford?
Yes.
Roberson?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
2025-30. 30.
Virgil, your turn.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, the State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, appropriation ordinance to transfer and appropriate monies from the county road personal service budget 2,000-200 to the county judge budget 1,100 to correct the expenditures of the first payroll in July 2025. Whereas the county judge salary is split between county general and county road budgets each year, along with all insurances, and whereas the months of January through June, the salary was paid from county general, and whereas July through December we paid from county road, and whereas the first payroll of July, the salary was paid from County General by mistake. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that $2,111.88 be transferred from 2000-200-1001 full-time salaries to 1,100-1001. $161.54 be transferred from 2,200-1006 Social Security to 1,100-1006. $376.33 be transferred from 2,000-200-1008 retirement to 1,100-1008. $16.25 be transferred from 2,200-1016 life insurance to 1,100-1016. I move that we approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mays.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Roberson.
Yes.
Page.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2025-31.
And Bailey, you have the last one.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an emergency ordinance to be entitled, an emergency ordinance to acknowledge Ozark Health Incorporated as the contracted administrator of Van Buren County Senior Citizens Program, to declare an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas Van Buren County Ordinance 2009-16 designates the distribution of the county's portion of the 1 cent general sales and use tax. And whereas there is a need to clarify a certain portion of Ordinance 2009-16 that distributes revenues to the Senior Citizens Program. And whereas the Senior Citizens Program has been contracted to Ozark Health Incorporated under oversight by the White River Area Agency on Aging, which has very specific rules and regulations in which Ozark Health Incorporated must follow regarding accounting, reporting, and operations. And whereas the purpose of the Senior Citizens Program remains unchanged. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that 1. Ozark Health Incorporated is recognized as the contracted administrator of the county Senior Citizens Program. 2. The Senior Citizens Program, as designated in Ordinance 2009-16, shall be Ozark Health Incorporated. 3. The voluntary tax collected for the county aging program shall be remitted to Ozark Health Incorporated. Emergency clause, it is imperative for the county's operations to continue smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Therefore, this ordinance being necessary for the protection and preservation of public health and safety, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be enforced and shall take effect upon passage and publication. I move we approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. What has happened is the Van Buren County Aging Program has always struggled. It's always had its share of funding issues, just like we have. COVID hit and all that money started floating in, and we thought we had them in a really good position. Well, all that money kind of ran out, and we're just the same amount of people still using the program. They made a lot of cuts. They had operated 5 kitchens around the county. They consolidated down to 1 kitchen, and they consolidated some staff and cut all the funds out of the other auxiliary stations. And the funding still went south, and they had a conversation with Ozark Health, and it made perfect sense. And it's really an example of good government. Ozark Health already has a kitchen. They're already cooking. They're already under the same rules and regulations for senior meals because they have the nursing home. So they just cook a little more food. They already have the hot truck, so they just truck it down to the senior citizens building and serve. And they, by doing that, they were kind enough to keep all the employees without having to lay anyone off. Well, those employees are moving to other positions within Ozark Health, but everyone was given a chance. And all we need to do is to clarify our books so the checks that are written as the county general's portion to help that program, and the portion of the sales tax that goes to that portion, we need to make sure that we're good just to write the check to Ozark Health instead of Van Buren County Aging Program, because now Ozark Health is the administrator.
So is the Meals on Wheels and all that still combined with that, and they still delivering all that? Good deal.
Yep.
I thought there was a question as to, do we still pay the aging program? What was that earlier we said? thing.
Check those are held now.
But I thought earlier I heard somebody say there was a question as if that was legal, that we could do that, if we should still pay the
The aging
citizens
program and
they
then
pay
them
Ozark
pay Ozark
I
Health.
think that this is
That's what this
amending it
does.
to be able to pay them directly. Is
Correct.
my understanding. Yeah, that this is us authorizing Pam to cut a check to Ozark Health versus senior citizens and everything like that.
So you could have a board remain intact to Ozark, well, the aging program, and then they could turn around and write that check back. Or we can run this ordinance, write it directly. Don't need the board, don't need the volunteers, don't have to worry about somebody being out of pocket, not being able to cut the
It
check.
goes- This portion we're paying goes directly to the aging program, not, like, the hospital doesn't benefit, correct?
Correct, correct.
Just keeping, because they're contracting, if my understanding is correct, they're contracting all those services through Ozark Health now.
Right.
So,
And by White River's stringent regulations and requirements, all this money has to be separate, and it has a separate paper trail, and it's audited it'll be audited both by Ozark Health's auditors and by White River. Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Mays.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Roberson.
yes.
Page.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2025-32.
Okay, and this has an emergency clause on it, and so the reason for that is so we can go ahead and get these checks rolling. It's an ordinance that needs to happen right now. So do I hear a motion and a second to acknowledge that emergency clause and the reason why it's attached?
So moved.
A motion and a second. To any discussion on the emergency clause? All in favor of that clause signify by saying aye. Aye. Excellent. We're up to. Is that it? Okay.
Don't make me stay here any longer.
So we have the section for public comments. Are there any? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any opposed?